Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's time!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Geeks and Noobs podcast. I am your host, Super Weird Vince Hoover. My co-host, Kel, unfortunately has a bad sinus infection, could not make it today, but we found some easy and fun replacements. First off, we have Super Bro, a.k.a. the Booker, Jason Hoover. We have reoccurring guest, Ginger Ninja. We have guest of the channel, friend of the PWC, Husky. And we also have a very, 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 very special guest. I called in a lot of favors to get this guy here. He is a legend in the music industry because we are going to be talking all about music today, all about soundtrack songs. He has been a part of some of the biggest soundtrack songs ever written by some of the greatest artists of all time.
From what I understand, he's the one who taught Slash how to play the guitar.
I've heard that. So, again, an absolute legend in the business. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Blitz Heinous the Fourth, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? I want to clear the air on the Slash thing. I did not teach him, but I did boink his name.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right.
Welcome, Blitz. Welcome.
How's everyone feeling tonight?
Doing good.
So much better now that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us, Blitz. It's an absolute honor to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if you saw the thumbnail on YouTube, first off, if you are on YouTube watching this, please hit that thumbs up button. Please hit the follow button. Subscribe to us. Hit the notification bell. If you're on Twitch, hit the follow button. If you're feeling generous, please subscribe. It helps grow the channel. You can always use Jeffrey Bezos' money and make a Prime subscription, and then you don't have to pay for it. You can stick it to the billionaires. If you're on Facebook, hit the share button, hit the thumbs up button, tell all your friends about it. As always, just, you can bring up multiple tabs. You can have us on multiple things. Stream us everywhere you have. So we have that. Now, if you saw the thumbnail, which I probably should. Yeah, it's fine. We are going to be talking about the greatest soundtrack songs over the years. Now, these are songs written by famous artists specifically for movies. Songs that encompass a film and its theme, while also end up becoming usually like big radio hits. And like, of course, one of the most iconic, arguably the most iconic, is "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion for the Titanic soundtrack. So that's, so you have an idea of what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about today. So I had to bring Blitz on because he is an absolute legend in the business and absolutely knows his shit. But we all here love music. We all here have some ideas. So real quick, we're going to pick, just name, like, what is one of your favorite, like, what you consider to be one of the most iconic songs from a soundtrack. I'll go first. To me, it's "Hero" by Chad Kroeger and Josie Scott from the Spider-Man soundtrack. It's just, to me, the most iconic soundtrack song of all time. Jason?
I'm actually going to do the theme to Shaft.
Oh, nice.
Again, iconic song. Very iconic.
Yeah. As soon as it starts playing, you know what the beat is, you know what it's about, you know it's going down.
Hello, Bree. Welcome to the chat.
Hello.
Husky, what about you, sir?
I'm going to have to go with "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor.
Why can't I see the chat?
Oh, but see, we don't have it popping up on StreamYard. You have to bring it up on Windows, right?
I
Hey,
try to
Coach
have to
Ron.
do something.
Yeah, hey, Coach Ron, how's it going? Ginger, what's an iconic soundtrack song for you, sir?
Flash Gordon's theme.
Queen, Flash Gordon, perfect choice.
Yeah.
I like legit have a Sam J. Jones autograph poster right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm fucking.
And Blitz,
Man,
I gotta come to you,
rocks my
sir.
world.
What is an iconic soundtrack song for you?
Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. It might be controversial. It's Jizz, but let me explain.
Let me explain.
That day I happened to wake up in a swamp. And a little green man took me to this place with a lot of sand, and there was this beautiful music playing. I called my buddy George Lucas. I said, "Look, baby, you got to put this in your film." And then, for the first time, everyone experienced Jizz all at the same time in that mid-'70s theater, probably with no air conditioning.
Of course, he's talking about the Star Wars band, and the music they play was Jizz. Good choice.
Cantina band from Tatooine.
Did not realize that they were a radio band that wrote a song, but good choice. Kel is with us here today in chat. Hope you're feeling better, buddy.
Yeah,
Hope you're feeling better,
Coach
buddy.
Ron, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I saw your TikTok today, Coach Ron. I'm very excited for your hat.
So Coach Ron has said any song from Rock of Ages with Tom Cruise and Alec Baldwin. But let me say this. Those don't count. Those are actually called jukebox songs. Those are songs that were radio hits before a movie ever came out, and they were either the movie was written for the songs, like in Rock of Ages was written specifically for those songs, or like in Guardians of the Galaxy where you bring in a bunch of songs to fit your movie. We're talking specifically about movies, songs that were written for movies. So another case in point,
Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger, like Husky's Choice, which, by the way, you're going to have your minds blown so many times today. Yeah. Did you know that Eye of the Tiger, the iconic Rocky song, did not show up in the franchise until Rocky 3? I thought that song was in the first one.
Yeah,
That's the Mandela effect thingy.
Yeah.
Where you think something is real, but it's not.
Absolutely insane. Another one.
That's just called acid. But
so here's another one. Let's go ahead and blow everybody's mind one more time. You know that very iconic song, Raindrops Keep Falling on Your Head? Raindrops keep falling on my head. The fact that we did that in tandem is kind of weird, and I peed a little. But
as a Philly, I knew that. Well,
yeah,
you just show off there,
yeah,
Coach
show
Ron.
off, yeah. But Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head was written specifically for the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What the fuck?
Crazy.
I had no idea.
Fucking knocking on heaven's door.
Yes. Knocking on Heaven's Door was written for Pat Garrett and the Billy the Kid movie. What? Mm-hmm. What? One of the most iconic songs by both Bob Dylan and then covered by Guns N' Roses and became one of their biggest hits. Knocking on Heaven's Door was written for a movie. What the actual hell?
No idea.
No clue. Kel drops down his favorite, which is the Ghostbuster theme. Of course, Ray Parker's Ghostbuster theme is a classic. There are some other movies that kind of fall in a weird kind of pocket genre, but we are going to include them. We talked about this before the show. Walk Hard. Yes. The Dewey Cox story. That entire album, by the way, that album is a fucking banger. Every song on that song is a fucking banger. The fact that John C. Reilly is as talented he is isn't fair. There's a reason he's not Brad Pitt-esque in looks, because he has everything else. They had to give him one downfall, and even then, he's still a decent-looking dude.
Yeah, the downfall is his hair doesn't look like Blitz's.
That is true. That is true.
Bray brings up Lose Yourself and Hero from Spider-Man.
And Vindicated from Spider-Man 2.
And Vindicated.
Dashboard Confessional, like for me, the only song I actually like by Dashboard Confessional is Vindicated. I'm not a big fan of theirs. I think Hey There Delilah sounds like a stalker song, and he should be arrested for that one. But
that's Plain White Tees.
Oh, that's right. Why was I thinking that was Dashboard Confessional?
Shut no.
Because they all fall in the same genre. They're all the same.
It's your brother, Booker.
They literally just changed. Look, they literally just changed their clothes and go back on stage as the next band. But
the amount
what the fuck was that?
I'm sorry. The amount of people I ran into Riot Fest this year that thought Desolation Row was a My Chemical Romance song from the very beginning and not a cover of a Bob Dylan song for the Watchmen movie was astounding.
Right.
Ginger, you're going to have to break Tommy's heart. I don't want to go any further into that, but you're going to have to let him know that those are not real accounts. I'm not doing it. You can do it, sir. He's your friend. Yeah, no, Hero and Vindic, like the two Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 3 soundtrack was god awful, just like the movie was, but the first two soundtracks are actually really, really good. The new Gaga song from Top Gun 2, I haven't actually, I don't remember the song for some reason. Like I recently finally got to watch it. Top Gun Maverick, fantastic film.
It's a damn good song.
Yeah, but it's one of those songs that kind of just like falls into it. But then if we're going to talk Top Gun, let's go back to the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. And the master of the soundtrack song, Kenny fucking Loggins.
Dude.
Yeah.
Danger Zone, Footloose, Caddyshack.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. I'm all
looking-
right. Come on.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
That's
Kenny
definitely
had
a
the
must
juice
play
in
on the
you.
jukebox whenever in your local bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Anything.
he did-
Anything
okay.
for Kenny Loggins.
Here's a list of songs he did for movies: Footloose, Danger Zone, Meet Me Halfway for Over the Top, that Sylvester Stallone
I love
arm
the
wrestling
fucking
movie.
Arm wrestling movie,
Yeah.
baby.
I'm All Right.
Yeah.
This Is
Turn the
It
net
for a
back.
movie called Keep the Fire. Danny's song from Sitting In. Playing with the Boys, also from Top Gun. I'm Free, also from Footloose. Whenever I Call You Friend, from Night Watch. Heart to Heart for High Adventure. Oh, holy shit, I hit expand, and there's like 40 songs. Holy fuck, Kenny Loggins. God damn it, man.
Was
wrote-
the
he
psychedelic
wrote-
furs Pretty in Pink for the movie, or was the movie named after the song?
That's a good question.
That is a good
Ooh,
question.
that is a good question.
That is a good song. That's a great movie.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
What's up? Tommy's in the chat. Highway to the Danger Zone.
Yes, sir.
Top
Yes,
Gun.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
you know how many people like here lately have been remaking that song?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lately thing. There's been bands throughout history that's remade that, but it seems like it's getting another resurgence of needs to be made again and again.
Do you remember a movie called Leap of Faith with Steve Martin where he played one of those traveling evangelicals
Yes.
and he was
yes.
conning people? Kenny Loggins wrote the
Mhm.
whole fucking soundtrack.
No shit.
Really?
What the that dude, like, that dude has
Soundtrack
made
God.
that dude has made multiple millions of dollars off of just making movie songs. Like, that dude's like,
Dude, he
he's like,
made-
I found my niche and I'm running with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
He made multiple
Definitely.
$1 million off of just Danger Zone,
Well, yeah.
and
But-
then just said, you know what? Let me
Kenny
keep this
Lo-
gravy train rolling.
Kenny
Yeah.
Loggins lays his head down at night making money.
He screws
Yeah.
the ducks into a pile of $100 bills every day.
Probably.
I cannot
Shredded.
believe the amount of like I said, I hit that expand button and it was just like whoosh whoosh whoosh, all sound. I'm like, Jesus, Kenny. But some of them are actually like, he redid Rainbow Connection for Return to Pooh Corner. But Rainbow
Mhm.
Connection was actually written for the first Muppet movie. Of course, there's a section of these songs that we're gonna kind of like glaze over, and that's like all the Disney animated films and the Pixar films and stuff like Randy Newman and everything he did for Toy Story, Elton John's
yeah.
Lion King soundtrack, Phil
Mhm.
Collins' Tarzan soundtrack, best part of that movie.
Mhm.
There's so many of that, but then like you got to think, you had Kenny Loggins in the '80s and apparently in the '90s. I didn't even realize. You had Bryan Adams, who did
Yeah.
Bryan Adams, yes.
he did the song for Robin Hood.
Yes.
He did Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman for Don DeMarco.
Yes.
He did All for One and All for Love. It was him, Rod Stewart, and Sting for the Three Musketeers film.
Mhm.
Great
like-
song.
So he was in the '90s trying to like ramp it up, and then of course you have Queen, who showed up in the late
Yeah.
'80s and said, "Hey, remember when we did Flash Gordon, and the record label and the movie company screwed us over? We're gonna do an entire soundtrack for the movie Highlander, turn it into an album, and it's gonna be our highest grossing album ever. How about that?"
Ever.
And we got Princes of the Universe, I Want to
Mhm.
Break Free, I Want It All, It's a Kind of
Mhm.
Magic, One Vision, and arguably to me one of the greatest songs ever written, Who Wants to Live Forever?
Yes.
Which, by the way, I didn't know that Brian May could sing until I saw that video, and he sings the first lines of the first chorus. That's Brian May, not Freddie Mercury. And I'm like,
Whoa.
excuse me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. it
So
was Brian
Brian
either.
May,
Wow.
one of the greatest rock and roll guitarists of all time, actually
Diesel.
created his own guitar. The reason he gets the sound he gets is because he invented his own guitar, because he's an astro fucking physicist, and the reason we have pictures of Pluto is partially thanks to Brian fucking May, and he has the voice of an angel. And hair like Blitz's, so holy fucking shit.
It tripped me out when I found out that he uses like coins as picks.
Yeah.
Because like I watch a lot of like gear rundown stuff, and
I'm
they were
working on it,
doing one
AJ.
for
I'm working
Brian
on it.
May. Yeah, they were doing one for Brian May, and he's like, they're like, what do you use for picks? And he's like, oh, these coins. We're like,
Yeah.
huh,
He has,
interesting.
and they did a song as kind of a tribute to Freddie Mercury that was released in like after he died, and it was one of the last songs that John Deacon was on that he recorded before he retired.
Right.
But if you look when they do the video and they zoom in on his guitar, I'm pretty sure that bitch has 10 strings.
Probably.
How the fuck do you do a guitar with 10 strings? Brian May does it. Like, yeah, so Brian May can do no wrong. Something else we got to talk about. Like, I want to kind of like shift to like, because I mentioned Walk Hard. That's a comedy. That's a comedy movie. Dia Positive. Dia Positivity. Thank you for the follow. You got yourself a dancing penguin. Walk Hard is obviously a comedy biopic, but the songs in that go so hard.
They really do.
So hard.
Man, John C. Reilly sings his ass off, dude.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
What's her name? Jenna Fisher. She actually can sing too.
Transcending
How was I not
the,
included in this
genres
music
of the
chat?
movie.
I'm a huge music
Oh, yeah.
nerd. Lots of classical rock. D, I didn't know. I'm sorry, D. I'll send you a link right now. You can come join. You can come join right now, D. Unless you're getting ready for Phenomenal 4 tonight, which we will raid Phenomenal 4 tonight. So make sure you stick around for that. We are going to raid Phenomenal 4 when we're done here. But like legit, that soundtrack is a soundtrack that I play just as on its own. Like I don't even need the movie. Like the movie, of course, is hilarious.
Right.
And the fact that we got Jack Black, Justin Long, Jason, what's his last name?
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman and Paul Rudd as the Beatles.
Jack White
Yeah.
as Elvis.
Jack White as
Yeah,
Elvis.
Jack White is Elvis.
And he nails it, by the way. But like,
That's
think
why I'm
about
the king, man.
I never
Oh,
saw
man.
Jack Black as Paul McCartney until he played fucking Paul McCartney. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like they nail like yes, they're doing caricature impersonations of them, but they fucking nail it.
Dude.
But
It's
like even
so
in that,
good.
like John C. Reilly playing other people through this Dewey Cox character.
Okay, D. Okay,
He hits
D.
like when you get to Royal Jelly, your brain is as melted as the characters is at that point. That song is absolutely amazing. It just it is
Yeah.
lyrical nonsense that hits every note perfectly. It is one of the greatest songs ever written.
I need more
so good.
didgeridoo. I need more didgeridoo. I fucking love that movie. But that soundtrack again, it goes so hard. Like it's a spoof of Walk the Line with Johnny Cash and other
Walk
biopics.
hard.
But Walk Hard, oh my god, that movie's so good. But speaking of songs that are kind of like comedy songs that end up going super hard, we have Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny.
Yes.
You have Kickapoo, which you have Meatloaf and Ronnie James Dio on the same song. What
Unreal.
Yes.
contract with Satan did you sign? Because holy shit. Hey, Matt the Duelist, how's it
time.
going?
Matt,
I
what's
heard
up,
that,
buddy?
I did not come a little. I came a lot.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
And you had Mr. Bat Out of Hell himself, Meatloaf, playing the preacher dad. You disobeyed my order, son. You can prove your faith wrong. Like I fucking love it. And then Ronnie James Dio in what is his last recorded song. The last recorded song we ever got from Ronnie James Dio is Kickapoo from fucking Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. And as Husky said,
in the bonus features of that, they show Ronnie James Dio recording it. That is one take, folks.
Yep.
That is why he is the godfather
I'm
of
out.
metal.
It's fucking
because of
done.
One take.
Like,
And fun fact about that scene too is that Meatloaf almost needed a stunt double to pull those posters off the wall.
yeah, he didn't want to do it.
He said he didn't want to do it. Was that blasphemous to his
D,
beliefs.
you can ask whatever question you want.
Fire away.
But
G, what do you
like,
got?
you also get that song, the battle with Satan at the end, which with by the way, Dave Grohl as Satan. Come on, but that whole thing, like, it's just they're meant to
Speaking
be
of-
comedies. You're not meant to think about this. I play that album by itself once again just because it's so good.
Mhm.
Dude,
It's insane.
I unironically listened to the Battle with the Devil track like pretty regularly
The
because
song
Dave
The
Grohl's
Metal, like,
performance is fucking insane.
the
So-
live performance of the song The Metal is insane. It's so cool. I did it at SNL. I remember watching it there and seeing it at Riot Fest.
Oh,
And
shit.
it's a fun performance. Dave Grohl did a lot for that album too.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm. Yep.
So D asked the
think-
question: has anybody ever seen Phantom of the Paradise? It is a rock musical by Paul Williams. No, but I'm definitely gonna go check that out.
Yep.
Sounds cool.
That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Something else to look
Check
up
that
tonight.
out.
And Future brings up Pick a Destiny is so great, wish there was a sequel. Did you guys talk about how Beck wrote all the songs for the Sex Bombs in Scott Pilgrim? We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah. So all the songs
Nope.
for Scott Pilgrim are original songs written by Beck.
I did not know that Beck wrote
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
D, I'm
I
down.
didn't either.
D,
The
D.
Clash of Demon Head song is a metric song
Yeah.
that I don't know if she had originally written it for the song and put it on her album later or it was repurposed, but it is performed in the movie by Brie Larson, which I really actually like that version despite
Yeah.
not liking Brie Larson as an actress all that much. But Scott Pilgrim versus the World is one of the best soundtracks
Yeah.
ever.
It's so good.
It fits everything in the movie perfectly. Cannot say more than enough. That's like a 10 out of 10 every day.
Yeah. All right. So D says that think of Phantom of the Paradise as Phantom of the Opera on acid, and she wants to do a watch along. I volunteer as
Okay.
tribute. I'm totally down.
I'm down.
I
with that.
volunteer as
Yeah,
tribute.
with
I
it.
like that.
I don't know.
That
If,
sounds
I
like a
don't
lot
know
of
if I'll do the acid, but I'll eat three brownies.
No, we're
will.
not going to do acid. Well, Husky will, but it's the movie is the Phantom of the Opera on acid. Like that's the best way to describe
Right,
it. She was
right,
saying, but somebody's got an Amber Alert.
Oh shit!
sorry.
This one's actually going off in my county. There's
Mine
a kid
too.
missing in my county. You live in
No,
Clay
nobody
County?
cares in my county.
No.
Oh.
No,
He's in-
I'm in Bartow. Polk County.
This one just went off for Clay County.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, D, I'm totally down. We can definitely do that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we should definitely make that.
It'll be
happen.
cool.
That sounds awesome.
First question: is it on YouTube so we can stream it?
We'll find a way to get it. However we
Yeah.
do it, we'll do we'll
We
get
can
it.
make
Okay.
Also obscure movie.
Can we
Dr.
talk
Detroit.
about? Here's one, and I know this is going to bring up some debate, and I'm going to
Okay.
sit back because you'll never convince me any other way. Can we talk about Dark Side of the Rainbow? You will never convince me that Pink Floyd did not write Dark Side of the Moon in sequence to The Wizard of Oz. All right.
Okay.
I actually agree with
So-
you, and you want to know why I agree with you? It's because what's his name? The guy, the lead singer from Pink Floyd.
David Gilmour
Thank you.
or Roger Waters?
Something like that. Yeah.
No, Roger Waters. Roger Waters is the one who adamantly denies that conspiracy. But I mean, so over the top denies it. I'm like, oh, you're covering something. Like he goes like way too far in
Yeah.
denying it.
Right.
Mhm.
I definitely believe that, but I refuse to watch Wizard of Oz anymore. I'm scarred from that movie. Childhood trauma, PTSD. I will never watch it again. But yeah, I just can't. I can't with that film anymore. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it. But yeah. I want to go back. I want to go back to kind of tie it into this channel as a whole. Is comic book movies have a lot of songs written for them, like we talked about Hero and Vindicated. There was one that just so happened to come out during my middle age years, so it became my go-to asking a girl out on a date song. It became how I asked a girl out, is I would play that song, and it was "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal
Oh yeah.
from the Batman
Yeah.
Forever
Let's go
soundtrack.
cheesy.
Not what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that
that's
was
my
it.
Brother.
Like,
That's my brother.
hey, it was
I
middle
was
school,
thinking side two of.
and guess
Yes,
what?
yes,
It
was.
fucking worked. It fucking worked. It fucking worked.
What was the Fast Times at Ridgemont High? That's I was thinking side two of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, D sent the trailer for us to remember in chat, so we'll definitely have
Very
to
nice.
check that out.
Thank
Kiss
you, D.
from yes, Kel. "Kiss from a Rose" is a badass getting laid song, and when you're in middle school and
1000%.
you're considered getting laid as holding hands, it fucking worked. It fucking worked. We'd go to the roller rink, kiss from a rose. We're holding hands, going around the circle. I'd get a kiss at the end of the night. It fucking worked. I love
You're
Seal to
getting real
death. I love
passionate
everything
about
Seal
this.
does. Although, okay, I have one gripe with Seal. He names all his albums Seal, not Seal 1, Seal 2. They're just called Seal. So you don't know which one you're buying when you go to buy a fucking album. He also
that's
doesn't.
weird.
He doesn't put lyrics in his CDs or albums because he wants the fans to interpret the lyrics. But that's why we get such fucked up lyrics to certain songs, and I hate it. Other than that, great artist. Kiss from a Rose. He also did what was the song he did for the Space Jam soundtrack?
He did the Steve Miller Band cover. He did Fly Like
Oh,
an
it was
Eagle.
a Steve. So that one doesn't count. Fly Like an Eagle doesn't technically count, but
Right.
that unfortunate douchebag who's now in jail for a very long time did a song on that album that
Oh yeah,
was a
yeah.
big hit.
I believe I can fly.
I Believe I Can Fly, and I believe that's the last we'll discuss about him.
And next.
Can we go back to Dave Grohl really quick?
Yes,
Sure.
Yes.
Do it.
I always have time for Dave Grohl.
Dream Widow.
Dude,
The soundtrack to the Studio 666 film
Yes.
is
Written for the
amazing from beginning to end.
that EP is an ass beater.
The
I want to
first
watch that
time
movie
I-
so bad.
Foo Fighters.
And the first time I listened to it, I had no idea. My girlfriend's like, "You should listen to this. You know, do you like it?" I'm not the biggest Foo Fighters fan, and
Right.
I was like,
He's a ghoul.
"Man, I really like this. This is really, really, really good." And she's like, "It's the Foo Fighters," and I was like,
I think we need to start seeing other people.
"I like it. It's good."
Yeah.
It
And then I
tastes
watched
good.
the movie, and if you watch certain scenes of that, specifically when Dave Grohl gets Buffy the Vampire Slayer makeup put on, it is identical to Morbius, and the vastly two different budgets is a telling all on its
Mhm.
own on
Yeah.
what type of film Morbius is. Also,
Yep.
I
I have a serious question. Did
Okay.
you really do the lip thing when you were like?
No.
Like you didn't really do. Well, you
no,
should have. You
that's
should have
part of-
fucking
part of
lied.
this complete fucking douchebag character I'm playing right
The
now.
douchebag character has to taste the music.
No, there's only. You know what was it? The Mitch Hedberg thing. My buddy looked at me and said, "I hear music as if there's another way to take it in." I tried to taste jazz once. Evanescence "Bring You to Life" on the Daredevil soundtrack.
Well, see, that was
That
written
was-
before. That was written before. However,
Yeah, it was-
Evanescence does have a soundtrack song. They have. Oh no, they don't. I'm thinking of Christina Perry, not Katy Perry. Christina Perry did a song called "A Thousand Years" for the Twilight soundtrack. That's what I was thinking of. My Immortal was also on the Twilight soundtrack, but again, written before the movie came out.
There was another
Brie-
one for Twilight that I think was
A huge
written
hit.
For
Yeah,
movie.
but I can't remember
Paramore
what-
song.
yeah, the Paramore one, but I
Decode
can't
from
remember.
Paramore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Decode from Paramore.
That's what it is. Bree brings up "Live and Let Die" by Paul McCartney. Every James Bond theme kind of hits, but "Live and Let Die" is on a whole other level.
Mhm.
It really is. And to be honest, when Shrek used it as the wake,
The wake for the
For the king?
for the king, the Frog King, that was weird. It was cool, but it was weird.
worked.
I don't know if it worked. It was
You
just weird
weren't
to me.
expecting it. No, for me it worked.
Why didn't
you
they
know,
play
the way they
Rainbow
just
Connection? You know, a song by a frog.
I
But
don't think they had the rights for that one.
but they could get Paul McCartney's "Live and Let Die." I'm sure Rainbow Connection's a little bit cheaper.
It's Disney as well.
Matt the Duelist said, "So I watched the original Suicide Squad and it was awful." Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Cal,
We
read the
appreciate
comments, Cal. Son of a bitch.
Cal.
you. Hey, Kel, if you're still in the chat, read that last thing. Read that well.
Real slow.
Print it out and put it under your pillow when you go to sleep. Absorb it by osmosis.
But like, so like there was a ton, like James Bond. Every James Bond movie gets a custom theme song from a major artist. By the way, Duran Duran was the first ever band to do a song, and not a solo artist. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. What was Madonna's?
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
Yeah, Die Another Day.
And she
I
was in
think
the
the
movie too.
MVP though for James Bond themes for opening credits music is Tom Jones.
Oh, dude, Thunderball.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Thunderball.
Yeah.
Thunderball.
And Moonraker and like I
Yeah.
think Moonraker was Tom Jones also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he might have been the first one to ever do multiple. I think, or maybe even the only one to do multiple ones. Future asked, did we talk about the Celine Dion song from Deadpool 2? Deadpool 2? Not yet, but yeah, that's. While she has, like I said, the most iconic soundtrack song of all time with My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. I think equally iconic, if you really listen to it, that song from Deadpool 2 is... Why can I not say the word 2? I go Canadian trying to say Deadpool, like Deadpool 2. It's like, but what the fuck?
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 is better take it down to the Tim Hortons to get yourself a cruller and a cup of coffee, all right?
I know, and some poutine.
With your friends the other day.
But yeah, so I think that I personally think the song from Deadpool the sequel, there we go, is a better song. I just think, like, written and orchestrated wise, it's just a better song. My Heart Will Go On, classic. I get it, but
Yeah.
I think the arrangement, the production, and everything on that song from the sequel is just so much better. It's so good. Up Where We Belong, Officer and a Gentleman, another classic. Dirty Dancing, we brought up before.
I love me some Dirty Dancing. Let me pull this up.
Time of my life, and I'm
sing.
holding on to you. But
I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna sing though.
to me, the greatest song. So let me look up the Dirty. I'm gonna get the exact name of this song right.
Time of my life.
She's Like the Wind. The classic song,
Ooh.
She's Like the Wind,
Oh, yes.
is written and sung by Patrick fucking Swayze. She's like the
R.I.P..
wind.
What an
You
absolute
know that I mean. Fucking love that song. And I didn't know for years it was Patrick Swayze. Like for years, I didn't know till I was like almost out of high school when I found out. Like, wait, what?
I was
That's
the time of my life.
Oh, you know what do you know when I learned? Is when I got so deep into the Donnie Darko lore. Because remember, Donnie Darko was one of the first viral marketing movies. They did that website for so long, counting down when the movie was going to come out and whatnot. And you started seeing like pictures of Patrick. I'm like, oh, Patrick Swayze's in this movie. That's pretty cool. He's and then you learn about the character. And then during all that, I learned that he had sung the song "She's Like the Wind." I was like, what? That is so awesome. Yeah, Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse, fucking love that dude. Roadhouse, like my favorite, one of my favorite moments in all of Family Guy is when everything was Roadhouse for Peter. Roadhouse, Roadhouse, Roadhouse. Like I love that
He's just
shit.
been kicking everything.
Yeah, Roadhouse. Yeah, Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel for The Graduate.
Oh yes. My man is getting
Ginger's just
down.
going to town.
I got this, man. I love this song. We take each other's hands and we tend to understand.
Sing it, bud.
The
Hold on.
Just remember, you're the one that I can't get
Oh my
enough of.
All right, meet him before we get to
Oh, I tell you
I don't even care. I
something.
don't even care.
Okay. Okay.
This could be love. Time of my life. I'm upsetting the dog.
Oh,
My mom just tapped me on the shoulder. I think I peed myself a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen,
laughing so fucking hard.
ladies and gentlemen, we have peaked as a show. It's all downhill from here. This is it.
Good night, folks.
Oh my god. Between Blitz, which by the way, when Blitz came on the screen for the first time before the show started, we all almost died. Like fell out of our chairs laughing. Just oh my god. Thank you, Bree. So much. Bree,
I have this thing with that song.
It's powerful, right?
Man, like that. What is it? Tiffany. That I think we're alone now. I think we're
Yeah.
alone now. I was
Like-
in Texas rocking out to that.
We
song.
were
That's
rocking out of that in
super
the car. But like
weird.
there's something about when you're writing a song for a movie, because a movie is typically epic and has a lot of story to it. that you pull that into the song, and all of a sudden that song becomes epic and it becomes moving. And that's why I wanted to do this, because these songs are so, like, again, Kiss from a Rose, fucking huge. Anything off that, It's a Kind of Magic soundtrack. Who Wants to Live Forever? Are you kidding me? Like, like My Heart Will Go On. Like the Bryan Adams. Have you ever really loved a woman? Like that. That song. Like anything Kenny Loggins did, whether it be Danger Zone, where you're getting hyped up and ready to run through a wall.
Yeah.
Or Footloose, where you're ready to fight the man, or in Caddyshack, where you're ready to get high and play golf. When you write a song specifically for a movie, it almost, I don't want to say it makes it easier on the artist to bring emotion in because they're pulling from the film, but I think it helps with the entire process, and you're able to create these songs that are just beyond epic. AJ brings up My Little Girl by Tim McGraw from Flicka. Oh yeah, that's actually a good song. I love Tim.
That is so smart.
But like you're able to just bring in so much emotion. So like,
I thought you were Frozen for a second, dude. Like straight up, I thought he was Frozen. I'm thinking he's either Frozen or he's chugging. Now he's just Frozen.
But like, think about this with like Lose Yourself from 8 Mile.
You want me to sing that one too?
That movie, like it's about his life and kind of how he grew up and whatnot. And Eminem makes powerful songs, but like that Lose Yourself is a fucking anthem.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yes,
like what's
is.
more iconic than Mom Spaghetti, to the point where there's now a restaurant in Detroit called Mom Spaghetti.
Saliva covered Lose Yourself.
Yeah, and it's pretty good.
It is with Bobby Amaru.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty surprised.
One thing I'm having kind of a hard time, my mind's not grabbing onto, is kind of like modern. Like there's like Kendrick Lamar did the soundtrack for Black Panther, which is great, and there's other are there any modern songs that land in like the Danger Zone, Footloose era, or the
See
from a
You
Rose?
Again from Past 7?
Yep.
Okay.
Bring that one up.
I think it was written after Paul passed. But it is just the perfect. It's up there, and it's one of the most modern ones I can think of.
D says Happy from Despicable Me. I'm gonna tell you what, that Despicable Me, the first album for Despicable Me, that shit goes hard.
I had a heart attack. My mom scared the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Yeah,
Tapped me on the shoulder. She goes, "The neighbors said the dog's awake."
Yeah. So like. Yeah, no, the entire Despicable Me 1 soundtrack goes pretty damn hard.
Surprisingly,
I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Armageddon
right?
in the late 90s. Yeah, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. By the way, Aerosmith's only ballad and their only #1 hit. Aerosmith never had a #1 hit until I Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Interesting.
As big as that band was, never had a #1 hit.
What about that Sunflower song by that Post Malone fella on the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Hard Out There
That's a
for
really
a
good
Pimp by
match for
3
that
6
one.
Mafia. Yep, 3 6 Mafia won an Oscar for that shit.
That's
Can't
crazy.
Stop
Juicy J has an Oscar.
Can't Stop the
Yeah, I
Feeling
love that.
from the Trolls movie. That Justin Timberlake song, Can't Stop the Feeling.
Actually, I don't know if I would count that one. For the same reason you haven't counted some of them, because it did come out before the movie came out. Yes,
What
it was
did?
promotional stuff, but
Well, he wrote it for the
Can't Stop
movie.
Feeling.
He
Oh,
wrote
I
it
did
for
the
the
full
movie.
screen. I did the full screen.
Hit him with it.
Smash Mouth's All Star was written for a film called Mystery Men.
Mm-hmm.
It was not made for
Oh
Shrek.
yes.
Oh, that's right.
I think that
it
wins.
was.
I think that's just as good as the Celine Dion. 'Cause
Also,
that song
can we just
stands
talk
the test
about?
of time.
Can we also just talk about how great Mystery Men is as a movie and so
Yes,
underrated?
highly
Yeah.
underrated.
Such a good movie.
Also, Dane Cook's first major motion picture appearance, because he was the Waffler.
Oh yeah. I am the waffler.
But Mystery Men is just, I mean, it was so ahead of its time too. Like if you
Really
brought
was.
out Mystery Men now, like if you made that movie now, it makes sense to make that movie. They did it at a time when comic book movies were a joke in and of themselves, and they went out there and said, "No, we're just gonna have fun with it."
Mhm.
Like to me, Kel Mitchell steals that movie as the Invisible Kid but nobody, he can only go invisible if nobody's looking. Fucking love that shit. So good. You got Paul Rubin, aka Pee Wee Herman.
Mm-hmm.
Hank Azaria as the
William H. Macy.
Yeah, oh yeah, William H. Macy fucking kills in that. Janine Garofalo, Ben Affleck, or not Ben Affleck, Ben Stiller. What's his name? Greg Kinnear. Greg Kinnear plays like the hero, but then they fucking kill him off. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. But that was like Homelander PG version was what he was.
Right,
he was sponsored and he was controlled by all that shit. Yeah. One more thing before I get ready. By the way, that's an awesome, amazing movie. Blues Brothers. That's Blues Brothers. That whole soundtrack. Yeah.
Yes. The whole thing.
Blues Brothers.
Yeah. The Blues Brothers are phenomenal. And that's something like people like. There are people who love the Blues Brothers who don't realize it's two comedians, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. They don't even realize they're comedians.
Yes, they do.
AJ, I've seen you bring that song up, and I refuse to talk about it because Jason and I both have trauma over the Grease movie.
I spent an entire summer listening to people editing a class-made
music video about it. So in the end of that video, by the way, so we had our TV production studio, right? And we had it set up with like a recording studio. So you had the broadcasting booth, then you had a glass window, and then you had the studio, but you had another glass window so students could watch things getting made. So while they're doing their final scene where everybody's like singing together, Jason and I get up behind them in the glass window and pretend to hang ourselves, swinging in the background, ruining their whole video because they only shot one take. They only shot one take. Did not see us. Edited it into the video. Still didn't see us. It played on the morning show when we got back to school, when school started back up, and they got in trouble. I was like, ha!
Now, what brought that in, us doing that was actually brought in the fact that we had a friend of ours had brought in an original copy of the VH version of Alice in Wonderland, where the conspiracy was the two midgets actually hanged themselves and you could see them.
No, it was Wizard of Oz, not Alice in Wonderland.
Wizard of Oz,
yeah. It's actually, by the way, it's actually just a statue of a flamingo. Peacock. You know those birds that like, oh yeah, it was a peacock. It was just, it wasn't even a midget, but whatever. When you see the high def, whatever. But yeah, so we did that because I fucking hate fucking Grease.
Before we
one more,
on
and I know it's
Grease,
Disney, but we don't talk about the Bruno song. Is seared in my brain.
We're moving on.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. Like I said, all those Pixar movies have amazing soundtracks. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blitz.
I actually went to high school where Rydell was written from. Like the guy that wrote Grease went to my high school, and everything that happened in that movie, that play in that movie, really happened. It happened at the high school that I went to. And the reason why I can know that still to this day, despite repressing everything that I know from high school, is that they told me every day for 4 years. 4.5 years, almost 5.
So even when they drove off and the car just took off and flew away, that happened too?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
True story.
I fucking hate that movie. Even before that, I wasn't a fan of it, but now I can't. I hate it with every fiber of my being. Yeah, I'm trying to think it doesn't quite happen as often that we get there are still a bunch of songs written specifically for movies, but they don't quite have the impact that we got out of the 70s, 80s, and 90s where these movies, like these songs just became absolute classics. And maybe in 20 years time we'll look back and songs will have become classics from movies that were we're maybe not seeing it in the moment, but you knew in the 80s, in a time when there was no internet, no social media, you knew Danger Zone, Footloose. You knew those songs were going to be classics. In the 90s, you knew Kiss from a Rose was going to dominate airwaves forever. You knew that everything from the Highlander soundtrack was going to just dominate. Like, you just knew it. Now these songs don't quite have the same impact, but there's still some really good ones. Like, again, Happy from Despicable Me. All those animated movies, like, they tend to get really good soundtracks because they have all the money in the fucking world. Especially when if it's anything Disney or Universal, they're just gonna Hey, Pharrell Williams, here's
Oh,
like
sure.
$700 million. Go to town. Like, you know, whatever.
Perfect Drug by Nine Inch Nails for the Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know a song for me that, like, I wasn't a Bush fan when they came out, but a song that turned me around on them was written for American Werewolf in Paris. It was a song called Mouth.
Oh yeah, that song.
That song's a
It-
fucking
good.
banger. That
Was
song is a
Cry Little
banger.
Sister written for Lost Boys?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Billy
Yeah.
Idol.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't remember, but was Huey Lewis "Power of Love" written for
Yes.
Back to the Future?
Yes.
Power of Love
fuck
and Back in Time, which, by the way, Back in
Yeah.
Time was meant to be the huge hit because it was the title track, and Power of Love surpassed it by leaps and bounds, and it became the quintessential Huey Lewis song, Power of
Mhm.
Love. You've also got
New Divine.
the Scream soundtracks have had some good songs, like "What If" by Creed, you know,
What If,
staple
yeah.
of our channel, Creed. They had "Spiders" by System of a Down.
Yes.
I discovered
AJ
System
brought
of a
up,
Down. I
Huge
Um,
fans.
I discovered System of a Down thanks to the Scream soundtrack, and I'm so grateful for that. So but then
AJ
like
brings up-
what AJ
Yeah,
brings? or
AJ
what?
brings up New Divide in Transformers.
Yeah, Linkin Park had several soundtrack songs written for the Transformers films.
What I've done.
The Batman '89 soundtrack by Prince. That whole
Yeah.
soundtrack is, you know, like, yeah, that Prince.
Purple
song-
Rain. Purple
Party
Rain,
Man.
baby.
Party Man.
So
is
here's my okay. So
one
here's a
of the
question
best
about
Prince
Purple
soundtracks.
Rain, because I know he wrote Purple Rain almost 10 years before that movie came out. So is the movie more so based on the song, and like the concept of the song is what developed the movie, or was it written for the movie that he was conceptualizing for 10 years? Because he did say he worked on that movie for 10 years before it
We'll
actually
just
got
say
to
he
the
was
script.
conceptualizing it for 10 years. Just to say.
Okay.
Just for
Just
the
to say
sake.
it.
'Cause I
Well,
mean-
just to print, you have to
Yeah.
bring, like, again, the Batman '89 soundtrack by Prince. You have Purple Rain, which also has Morris Day and the Times on it. So fucking awesome.
Morris
Yeah.
Day in the motherfucking town.
Yeah.
Think you wanna know me?
What about John Carpenter's Halloween theme, which is kind of transcended?
Yes.
So that one falls into a weird like score, but at the same time, it was written specifically for the movie by John Carpenter himself, and it has transcended. And John Carpenter also wrote songs for a lot of his horror movies, not just scores. I didn't, you know, I found this out later in life that he was also a musician and did all that. So I was like, oh shit. You got songs like "Don't You Forget About Me" from The Breakfast Club,
Mhm.
classic. So a lot of John Waters films had songs written for them. "Fight the Power" from Public Enemy was written for a
Do
for a
the Right
movie.
Thing.
Yep.
Yeah, from Do the Right Thing.
Was
Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's
Oh,
Paradise.
yes.
Yeah.
So this was another
Yeah,
one that
there
blew. This one blew Ginger's mind. He didn't realize that the movie Dangerous Minds, that Gangster's Paradise was written specifically for that movie.
Blew
He
my
thought he just wrote it.
fucking gourd.
Yeah, I thought it was just a regular Coolio song.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, Cooley wrote another badass banger.
What was another
Mhm.
song that kind of
Song.
blew our mind when we read about it? We read there was a song on that list that were like, really, that was written for a. Of course, yeah. Well, Goonies by Cyndi Lauper is a classic.
What's the Billy Joel song for Oliver and Company? Was that for the movie, or was that a Billy Joel song?
Oh, I don't know.
That was the one where Billy Joel voiced a dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why should I
That's
That song's so good.
Why should I get? Once again, that's a Disney flick.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
is, yes.
Disney pumps out the money,
Mhm.
but it's also you gotta. At that time period, Billy Joel was hot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Ooh,
that song.
A Man of Constant Sorrow from Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah. Man of
Yeah.
Constant Sorrow. What a banger that is.
That's a good
Holy
one.
shit. Okay. So do you guys know who Nat King? You guys, I'm sure you know who Nat King Cole is, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I hang out with his ghost
What-
all the time.
One of the greatest one of the greatest performers of all time. One of his biggest hits, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, was written for a movie called Captain Carey USA.
Huh.
What the fuck?
I don't think I've seen that.
I've not seen it, but I didn't realize it was written for a
She
movie.
didn't write it.
Yeah, Bree, we talked about that earlier. Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan was written for Pat Garrett in the Billy the Kid movie.
In the
Moon
same-
River was written for Breakfast Club or for Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, yeah.
In the same vein of My Chemical Romance covering Bob Dylan for Watchmen, we had the wonderful cover of Behind Blue Eyes by Fred Durst for the Gothica soundtrack, and the only reason he agreed to do it is because he got to kiss Halle Berry in the music video.
Yeah.
Staying Alive was the one I couldn't believe was written.
Oh yeah,
that whole soundtrack.
The entire Saturday
yeah,
Night
the
Fever
whole
soundtrack. People thought that the Bee Gees, it's like the Bee Gees made an album and then they made a movie about the album. No, that album was written for the movie. So the song, by the way, what is one of Frank Sinatra's most famous songs? New York, New York, right?
New York, New York. Yeah.
Written for the movie New York, New York.
Yeah, and originally performed by Liza Minnelli.
Really?
Yeah, and by the way, her version is fantastic. I love Liza. That's Judy Garland's daughter, by the way.
Yes.
You know, Dorothy from Wizard of Oz is, you know. Superfly from the Superfly movie by Curtis Mayfield. 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. 9 to 5 the movie. Yeah, just it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy that there's so many songs. There's so many songs out there that are absolute bangers that we don't realize were written specifically for a movie. Like I never knew Mona Lisa was written for a movie. That's a classic. It's a straight Yes, Bryan Adams, Everything I Do. Yeah, we talked about Bryan Adams, Everything I Do from Robin Hood, which, by the way, that song got removed from the movie by the musical director and put at the end credits because there was an instrument in it that they said was too modern for the time period of Robin Hood. Can you guess what that instrument was?
Guitar?
No. It's a piano. They said the piano was too modern of a instrument for the Robin Hood medieval times. The guitar was acceptable because they had lutes back then, so you could get away with it. But there was no pianos then.
Wait, there was straight up hip hop in that movie, though.
In Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Men in Tights.
You're thinking of Men in Tights.
The only Robin Hood movie that actually matters.
We're men, manly men. We're men in tights. Yeah.
Tight.
Fucking love that movie.
Robin, you've lost your arms in battle.
But you gained a nice set of tits. Unlike other Robin Hoods, I can speak in an English accent. Fucking love that movie.
We quote that thing all day long.
By the way, in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, can we just talk about how great Alan Rickman is in just like everything he does as the sheriff of Nottingham? So fucking good. Love him to death. Miss Alan Rickman. He was great in that.
Apparently, he's good in Harry Potter.
He is very good. He's a wonderful Snape. Fucking nails that role. Fucking love him in that too.
I read one of the movie rumors and theories that they're actually thinking about writing a 3-part movie series about the life of Snape before Hogwarts.
No, thank you.
Can I take AJ's comment?
Yes, you can. Yes, you've been waiting for this. Yes. You've been waiting for this. Go for it, sir. Hold on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this for your comment. The song "I Will Always Love You" was not written for The Bodyguard. Dolly Parton wrote "I Will Always Love You" for her record label that she was leaving. Which actually, the first time that song was ever used in a movie was Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Whitney Houston used it because it happened to fit the structure of Bodyguard, but that song was Dolly Parton's, written way before it actually became publicly famous. I've been waiting all night for that one.
Yes, you have, sir.
I'm a Dolly Parton fan. I'm sorry. It's not because
I don't blame you. She's an angel.
We stand Dolly in this household.
Dolly Parton is an angel of a human being, which, by the way, has been married for almost 50 years. And you want to know why nobody knows that? Because when she goes out in public, she dresses down. She takes her blonde wigs off because her hair has never been blonde ever in her life ever. It's always been wigs. She's a dark brunette. By the way, Dolly Parton lost a Dolly Parton lookalike contest that she entered.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she lost to a drag queen. And Robert Downey Jr. took third in a Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man lookalike contest.
True stories.
Love that stuff.
God, that's funny.
I Will Always Love You doesn't actually count. On the Streets of Philadelphia by Springsteen. Yeah. Or
Great
the Street.
song.
Yeah.
Love that song. Shout out to the boss.
Yeah, he
I
actually.
know this kind of doesn't count, but I do. We got to mention we were talking modern a minute ago.
Mhm.
That fucking song from The Greatest Showman. This Is Me.
Yeah, This Is Me. Like
Yeah.
again,
That has
written for the movie.
transcended that movie.
I think
because
it
of the movie.
We can
The
kind of.
Greatest Showman's technically a musical, but
But it's a
all
movie.
the songs are written. But it was.
Yeah.
It's never been on Broadway or anything.
Yeah, it's never been done on Broadway. Well, they're doing it now, but like you're right. So that one, that can be an exception to the no musical rule because that was written. It was written specifically to be a movie, and so that whole soundtrack. Which, by the way, I saw Hugh Jackman live after that movie came out. He did a live tour as a concert, and he opens up with the song "Greatest Showman," and he does "This Is Me" later on. He brings out Aboriginal singers from Australia. During one of the concerts, he brought out the Tampa Gay Men's Choir to sing with him. That show was beyond phenomenal. Hugh Jackman can do no wrong in my eyes. That man walks on water as far as I'm concerned. It was so good. But yeah, so The Greatest Showman kind of falls into our criteria because it is technically a musical, but it is also just a movie. They're just now working on making it an actual Broadway musical. It wasn't like Phantom of the Opera turned into a movie or something like that. Also, movies like, to me, another fantastic musical movie is Across the Universe, but that's all Beatles songs. It's all Beatles songs. They weren't written for the movie, so that doesn't count either. When we do jukebox songs a couple weeks from now, we're going to do jukebox songs like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Across the Universe will fall into that. Which, by the way, every version in Across the Universe is done as an original take of it. They're not straight one-for-one copies, so they kind of fall in both. But it's very loosely falling into this one. It more so falls into the jukebox one.
I mean,
but
it's your show. You can change the rules whenever you want.
I've been doing it the whole show.
I know.
But yeah. So that one, it kind of like Bob Seger's version of what's that song?
Turn the page.
No, it's a Beatles song about it. The lyrics make no sense. During the scene where he comes out as three different people, like he's the hippie, then he's the pimp, and then the
Oh
I haven't seen Across the Universe since it came out.
oh shit! Hold on. Let me just look up the Across the Universe soundtrack. My brain has shut off.
I will say, while we're on the topic, the Fiona Apple cover of Across the Universe.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say this right now.
Come together. Jesus Christ. Come together. Yeah. God.
Like
my
come
brain just-
together.
Yeah. His version on that, but like my favorite song in that whole soundtrack is When My Guitar Gently Weeps.
My favorite Beatles song.
But the version he does in the movie is so powerful.
It's really fucking good.
It's like you know, like With a Little Help from My Friends is very fun in the film. Let It Be is super powerful. Like it's just a very, very good film. Bono doing I Am the Walrus is hilarious.
That is funny.
But yeah, so that's another great one. It
But
might
be
do.
you.
I Disappear by Metallica on the Mission
Yes.
Impossible.
Oh, for Mission
2
Impossible 2,
soundtrack.
yeah.
During the
And
fight, that included using motorcycles as weapons.
yes.
As weapons.
And you also got Limp Bizkit doing the Mission Impossible theme for the movie.
Oh, that's right.
With the song, what was the song?
You want to hate me?
Now I know why you want to hate me. That's what it's called.
Dude, Wes
lately.
Borland, him and Sam Rivers together on bass and guitar is a magic.
I love the fact, this is off topic a little bit, but we just mentioned Limp Bizkit. I love the fact that there's kind of a resurgence of like, oh, they were actually not bad. Like the fact that we're kind of like, there's like this kind of almost like mini renaissance for them, and people are like, oh, they weren't a joke. They actually were decent.
They put out
like,
a record last year called Still Sucks, and it whips ass.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's fair.
And Fred Durst comes out, his hair's all grayed out, his beard's all grayed out, and he wears like a fucking plaid suit, and he's fucking like, I'm an old man now, fuck it. Like, by the way, there's a movie with him and John. There's a movie with him and John Travolta that came out just a couple years ago.
A Fred Durst movie with John Travolta?
He directs it, and he has a small part in it, and John Travolta's in it. It's Fred Durst's directorial debut. It's not a good movie, but at the same time, it's a good movie. Like, it's one of those movies that's like, oh, this is so bad it's good. And it's like, you have to watch it. I need to look it up.
Those are actually my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Can we do a whole show on that one time? Movies that are so bad they're good.
Yes, we will absolutely do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
I've kind of made my way into the.
It's called The Fanatic.
Now,
Yes, you're here, sir. It's called The Fanatic. It's a psychological thriller, directed and co-written by Fred Durst. It stars John Travolta as a man named Moose, who's an autistic man who develops an unhealthy obsession with his favorite actor, Hunter Dunbar, played by the returning Devon Sawa.
Oh
yeah.
Shit.
Trust me, it's worth the watch. Like, again, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
James Paxton is in it too. It's like it's so good. So bad, but it's so good. It's kind of like that movie Mandy with Nicolas Cage. It's like so bad it's good. Or Pig with Nicolas Cage. Or anything with Nicolas Cage in recent memory.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is amazing.
Nicolas Cage can never say. See, Nicolas Cage took one improv class and heard yes and it became his life motto. And he has never turned down a role since. Except he turned down to return as Spider-Man Noir in the next Across the Universe, or Across the Spider-Verse. Weirdly enough.
Damn.
Tommy, thank you for the 100 biddies, sir.
Are those fucking dancing unicorns?
It's a unicorn and a rainbow heart.
That's awesome.
That is
Hell
cute.
yeah.
Do it again.
I like it. Oh, it was 200 biddies. It was 200 biddies. That was awesome. Thank you, sir.
Tommy.
Nice.
Let go.
Thank you, Tommy. Greatly
I
appreciate
liked
it,
it. Very, very cool. Let's bring that down so people can read that, actually. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. That was awesome. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll definitely... There's so many episode ideas. I hope people are watching and clipping this shit, because I'm going to end up forgetting half of these. But, like, yeah, like, there's so many things coming up. Because although we've got some big movies coming up. Next week, we're going to be covering Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We're going to be talking about that movie at length. We've also got Shazam coming out eventually. We've got Flash coming out eventually. We've got Aquaman 2 coming out eventually. We've got the Marvels coming out eventually. We got Secret Invasion coming up. There is stuff coming out that that is our typical niche stuff that we do, but we're still going to have a lot of weeks where stuff isn't going on. So we're going to have fun episodes like this. So we will do the movies that are so bad they're good. We will do jukebox songs. We will do jukebox songs that were written for the radio but ended up making a movie even better. That kind of stuff. We'll do we'll do a whole episode on musicals by itself. That kind of stuff. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and D, we'll try to get that watch along set up sometime for the near future if possible.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun too.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
I'm very curious to see that movie. So yeah, I mean, I think on that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I have to thank the legend Blitz Heinous IV for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. An absolute honor, sir, to have you here. Of course, Jax, Husky, DeBooker, thank you guys for coming up and stepping in while Kel was sick. You guys are always welcome here. So we're going to have a lot of fun coming up. Please make sure you've liked and subscribed everywhere you're supposed to do. You know how social media works. You know what you got to do. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Twitch. Help us grow as a channel. But nobody go anywhere. Nobody leave. Because we're going to raid the Phenomenal 4 podcast over on our sister channel at the PWC. So nobody go anywhere. We love you guys, and we will see you guys next week. As soon as I can get my shit